Yājūj and Mājūj, Gog and Magog, Part 4. What do the classical and contemporary Muslim scholars say about Yājūj and Mājūj? What do al-Ṭabarī, Ibn Kathīr, Ibn Khaldun say about Yājūj and Mājūj? What is the view of Ibn Ashur, the great scholar of Tunisia? What do the Salafis and Saudi scholars say about Yājūj and Mājūj? Find answers to these questions in this video. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. We have so far covered on the topic of Gog and Magog, the biblical perspective in part 1, the Qur'anic perspective in part 2, and the authentic hadith on Yājūj and Mājūj in part 3. Today, in part 4, we are looking at the views of some of the classicals and contemporary scholars. 1. Imam Ibn Jarir al-Tabari. Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Jarir ibn Yazid al-Tabari, more commonly known as al-Tabari, was a Muslim historian and scholar of the 9th century from Amol, Tabaristan. Among the most prominent figures of the Islamic Golden Age, al-Tabari is known for his historical works and expertise in the Qur'anic exegesis. Ibn Jarir reports a narration from Qatada, who reported that a man informed the Prophet ﷺ about seeing the dam of Gog and Magog. When asked to describe it, the man said, "It appeared like striped garments with red and black stripes." The Prophet ﷺ confirmed, saying, "You have seen it." According to Ibn Jarir al-Tabari, Caleb al-Wathiq dispatched messengers to various kings, urging them to travel across different countries until they reached the dam to verify its existence. Upon their return, they described the dam was having a massive door with numerous locks, towering height, and preserved remnants of construction materials and tools, and a tower. Guards were still stationed, and its location was reported to be on the northeast side of the earth. It was also mentioned that the inhabitants of that land lived in a vast area, relying on agriculture and hunting, with their population being immeasurable. Number 2. Imam Ibn Kathīr. Abu al-Fida Imaduddin Ismail ibn Umar ibn Kathīr al-Qurayshi al-Dimashqi, commonly known as Ibn Kathīr, was a significant Arab historian, scholar, and commentator during the Mamluk period in Syria. Renowned for his expertise in Qur'anic exegesis and jurisprudence, he authored various works, including a comprehensive 14th volume history titled Al-Bidāya wa-Nihāya. According to Ibn Kathīr, Gog and Magog are two groups of Turks descending from Yāfith, the father of the Turks, one of the sons of Nuh. As Yāfith is the forefather of Turks, according to Ibn Kathīr, so the Turks are Yājūj and Mājūj. Number 3. Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun, a renowned historian, philosopher, and scientist from the 14th century, asserted that genealogy experts unanimously identify the descendants of Yāfith, who are Turks and Chinese, as descendants of Yājūj and Mājūj. He referenced chapters 38 and 39 of Ezekiel in the Bible, describing Gog and Magog as rulers of regions like Russa, which is modern Russia, Moscow, and Tobolsk. Over time, these groups are believed to have evolved into Tatars, Mongols, and Scythian, with some tribes eventually reaching Europe and settling in America and Australia. Ibn Khaldun predicted their appearance 1,000 years after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. According to Ibn Khaldun, these groups will emerge in significant numbers with the aim of conquering the entire world, marking a culmination of events characterized by their corruption reaching its zenith, leading to a cataclysmic event, a fire hurled from the sky accompanied by a massive earthquake. Number 4. Ibn Ashur. Muhammad al-Tahir ibn Ashur was a 20th century Tunisian Islamic scholar who graduated from the University of Zaytuna. Ibn Ashur writes, "It's not known exactly what time they would be released from their lands, nor the cause of it. It is estimated that their release was during the latter of the 6th century Hijri. The Arab kingdoms were scattered at the hands of the Mongols and Tatars since the emergence of Genghis Khan and his occupation of Bukhārā in the year 616 Hijri. Number 5. Modern Salafi scholars. Modern Salafi scholars reject the two claims. The first claim, that Yājūj and Mājūj are the descendants of Yāfith, And the second claim that Yājūj and Mājūj are not humans but a religious allegory. They reject the first claim by arguing that reliance on the Bible for such accounts is equal to believing in Israeliyat, i.e. relying upon the Jewish narrations. According to these scholars, the Bible is not an authentic source of information for such historical accounts, and Muslims should only resort to the glorious Qur'an and authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Secondly, they also reject any metaphorical or allegorical interpretation of Yājūj and Mājūj. They are of the view that the Qur'anic text should be taken literally without resorting to any metaphorical interpretation. A well-known Salafi website, Islamika.info, under the supervision of the highly respected Saudi scholar Sheikh al-Munajjid of the prestigious al-Qura Islamic University in Mecca, writes, "There is no doubt that Yājūj and Mājūj are two huge nations of the sons of Adam. Anyone who reads the story of Dhul-Qarnayn and how he dealt with this nation in Sūrat al-Kahf will know for sure that they exist, and that the barrier which was built is not metaphorical or imaginary, but is a physical barrier built of iron and melted copper." The author of the website further argues that taking and interpreting Qur'anic texts allegorically tantamounts to misinterpretation and changing the original message of the glorious Qur'an. The website further reads, "The basic principle is that we should take this Qur'anic text as it is, without resorting to any kind of misinterpretation or trying to twist the intended meaning." Tariq Suwaidan, a scholar from Kuwait who authored 54 books, said, "Despite the many narrations, there is not to be found an authentic evidence, neither with myself nor other than me, with regards to who Gog and Magog are precisely. But looking at the hadith about them and their description, it has become clear to me, and Allah knows best, that they are the people of China." Sheikh Ahmad al-Ṭabarī of the Salafi Manhaj refutes the claims of Tariq Suwaidan. He writes, "Indeed, this statement that Gog and Magog are the people of China is in opposition to what is firmly established in the text, that their appearance is not to be until after the descent of Isa (as) and after the killing of Dajjal. It's also established in the text that Gog and Magog will not live except for a short time after their appearance, and the people of China have been upon the state they are in at present for a long period." Sheikh Abdul Rahman ibn Nasr al-Sa'di, also known as al-Sidi, was a 20th century Islamic scholar from Saudi Arabia who wrote over 40 books covering various subjects such as the interpretation of Qur'an, Tafsīr, Islamic jurisprudence, fiqh, and creed aqidah. Al-Sa'di was particularly influential in the field of Qur'anic interpretation, and his Tafsīr book titled Tafsīr al-Karim ar-Rahman is considered one of the most popular among modern Salafi scholars. Sheikh al-Sa'di notes that as an alternative explanation, some scholars have suggested that the collapse of the wall and their emergence near the end of time are two separate events. The wall has already been destroyed, and Gog and Magog went through it, while they and their descendants will emerge again one last time before the final hour. Sheikh al-Sa'di wrote a treatise on this topic, specifically saying, "The opening of Gog and Magog and their first emergence has already happened, and they cause corruption on the earth against people generally and against Muslim and Arabs specifically, such as the trials of the Tatars in the east and the battles in European lands. Their emergence at the end of time, as described in the tradition of al-Nawas ibn Siman, is after the trial of the false Messiah, i.e. the Dajjal. There is no indication that they have not emerged before that, as the meaning of emerge is to transfer from one location to another. It will not be the first time they have emerged." In the next few videos, I will be discussing the views of modernist scholars such as Sheikh Imran Hussain, Javed Ahmad Ghamidi, and Sahil Adim. Remember, spreading a good word is a charity. May Allah protect me and you wherever you are. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.